Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Hello, howdy, and hi to all the Mishpachah and to all the Ahi out there that are looking and searching and seeking for truth. Remember, Psalms 119, 146, Torah is the truth. So today, as you can see, as the screen's already up, I want to talk about Emunah, often erroneously defined as faith or belief. It's kind of ambiguous. So we want to take a look at that word, Emunah, and a few other things in Scripture, so we get an idea what that is. And again, Emunah, like faith or belief, only with action. So we see Emunah, what is it? Generally translated as faith. We're used to thinking of faith as a strategy for people who can't think for themselves. The fool believes everything. Solomon, or Shalomo, writes, the wise man understands Emunah, however, is an innate conviction, a perception of truth that transcends rather than evades reason. Quite the contrary, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge can further enhance true Emunah. Nevertheless, Emunah is not based on reason. Reason can never attain the certainty of Emunah, since reasonability speaking, a greater reasoning might always come along that proves your reasons wrong. In this way, Emunah is similar to seeing firsthand, and reason can help you better understand what you see, but it will have a hard time convincing you that you never saw it. So too, Emunah endures even when reason can't catch up. So practically speaking, a person may have faith because he is not interested or incapable of reasoning for himself or herself. Therefore, their faith does not belong to them. He is simply relying on others. It's so true. So many people out there, their belief is in what other people have studied out and brought forth. When a person has a profound emunah in any truth, but especially in Torah truth, which is the only truth, they feel the truth is to be part and parcel of their very own essence and their nefesh, their very being. Everything that makes you what you are, your emunah is tied to it. The litmus test would be a case of martyrdom. A person with sub-rational faith may or may not decide to give their life for their faith. A person with super-rational emunah sees no choice. To deny his emunah or her emunah is to deny the quintessence of their being. The definition of emunah is related to the word of ni'eman, and that's loyalty or faithfulness to Yah and to the kadosh precepts and judgments of Yah. In Abrit, or Hebrews 11, we see, and it says, and emunah. Now, let's stop right there for a real quick second. In most of the oldest Greek manuscripts, and I know it wasn't written in Greek, they actually have a Hebrew or an Abrit Hebrews. But in some of the oldest, that first word is ami. Ami in Greek means I am. And when they say I am, it isn't just I am as in I am a human. It literally is talking about the proclamation of I am. Asher Hayat. You get it? It is the I am. I am Emunah. And that is the substance of what is expected. Now you see here, Emunah, right off the bat, is telling you Emunah, what they call faith or belief, is the substance of your expectation or of what is expected, and the proof of what is not seen. So your emunah says, whatever you think your head knowledge is, that's the substance. Your faith is the substance of your expectation in the Messiah, back to the Father. And it's the proof of what is not seen. For by this the elders obtained witness. Wait a minute. It was witnessed. Do you see what it's telling you? All those elders that came before who had emunah, who believed, Abraham, Yitzhak, Isaac, all of them had a faithfulness, an emunah, a substantive belief that was worked out. He says, if you show me your Emunah without works, I'll show you mine by my works. So we understand right off the bat, he's telling you Emunah, or your faith, is the substance of your expectation and the proof, the verifiable, observable proof of what is not seen. For this, the elders obtained a witness, and by Emunah we understand the past, present, and future work prepared by the word, the Debar of Elohim, so that what is seen was not made of what is visible. Oh, wait a minute. This gets into some really supernatural stuff here, guys. We won't get into that right now, but wow. If we really dug this verse out, you're seeing it so that what is seen was not made of what is visible. You see how much he's telling us here? So I can't throw this out. By Emunah, Habel offered to Elohim a greater slaughter offering than Cain, through which he obtained witness that he was righteous. Elohim witnessing of his gifts, and through it having died, he still speaks. By Emunah, Hanok was translated so as not to see death, and was not found because Elohim had translated him. For before his translation, he obtained witness that he had pleased Yahuwah. But without Emunah, it is impossible to please him, for he who comes to Elohim has to believe that he is the self-existent one, and that he is a rewarder of those who earnestly seek him. By Emunah, Noah had been warned of what was yet unseen. He hadn't seen a flood before. Having feared, or he was completely in awe of an understanding of his place and the Creator's place and the Mashiach's place, because they had an expectation then too. They hadn't seen the promises like we have. He prepared an ark to save his house, through which he condemned the world and became heir of righteousness, which is according to his Emunah. See, he built an ark. That's his belief, obedience unto action. That is the substance of what is expected and the proof of what was not seen, right there at work. And it says, by Emunah, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to a place which he was about to receive an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. By Emunah, he sojourned in the land of promise as a stranger, dwelling in tents with Yitzhak and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he was looking for the city having foundation, whose builder and maker is Elohim. By Emunah also, Sarah herself was enabled to conceive seed, and she bore a child when she was past the normal age, because he deemed him trustworthy who had promised. See, she had a faith, a belief that she acted accordingly, did accordingly. Abraham acted accordingly, did accordingly to everything that Yah had given. The son acted accordingly. He says, I do nothing less my Father gives me. None of these words, none of these actions are my own, but him who works through me. And it says, and so from one, and him as good as dead, were born as numerous as the stars of the heaven, and as countless as the sand which is by the seashore. In Emunah, all these died, not having received the promises, but seeing them from a distance, welcomed and embraced them, and confessed that they were foreigners and strangers on the Eretz. For those who speak this way make it clear that they seek a fatherland. And yet, if they had indeed kept remembering that place from which they had come out, they would have had the chance to return. But now they long for a better place that is in the Shamayim. Therefore, Elohim is not ashamed to be called their Elohim, for he has prepared a city for them. And by Emunah, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Yitzhak, and he who had received the promises offered up his only brought forth son, of whom it was said, in Yitzhak your seed shall be called. Reckoning that Elohim was able to raise even from the dead, from which he received him back as a type. By Emunah, Yitzhak showed favor to Yaakov and Esau concerning that which was to come. By Emunah, Yaakov, when he was dying, Baruch each of the sons of Yosef, and did reverence on the top of his staff. By Emunah, Yosef, when he was dying, made mention of the outgoing of the children of Yisrael, and gave orders concerning his bones. By Emunah, Moshe, having been born, was hidden 3 months by his parents, because they saw he was a comely child, and were not afraid of the sovereign's command. And by Emunah, Moshe, having become great, refused to be called the son of the daughter of Pharaoh, choosing rather to be afflicted with the people of Elohim than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a time, deeming the reproach of the Messiah greater riches than the treasures in Mitzrayim, for he was looking to the reward. And by Emunah he left Mitzrayim, not fearing the wrath of the sovereign, for he was steadfast, as seeing him who is invisible. By Emunah he performed a Pesach, a sprinkling of blood, lest he who destroyed the firstborn should touch them. And by Emunah he passed through the Reed Sea, and by dry land, and when the Mizrahites tried it, they were drowned. By Emunah the walls of Jericho fell, having been surrounded for 7 days. By Emunah Rahab the whore did not perish with those who did not believe, having received the spies with shalom. And what more shall I say? For the time should fail me to relate of Gideon and Barak and Shimshon and Yiftah, also of Daud and Shemuel and the Nabi, who through Emunah overcame reigns, worked righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of the lions, quenched the power of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, became mighty in battle, put foreign armies to flight. Women received back their dead by resurrections, and others were tortured, not accepting release to obtain a better resurrection. And others had trial of mockings and floggings, and more of chains and imprisonments. They were stoned, and they were tried, and they were sawn in two, and they were slain with the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins, being in need, afflicted, and mistreated, of whom the world was not worthy, wandering in deserts and mountains and caves and holes of the earth, and having obtained witness through the Emunah. All these did not receive the promise, Elohim having provided what was better for us, that they should not be made perfect apart from us. I could spend hours just breaking that down. That is just amazing when you think about this. All that came before us, all that they endured. And we think a little hunger, a little thirst, a little bad government, a little whatever is something to be endured. They endured all that plus. Sawn in two, flogged, chains, imprisonment, stoned, died by the sword, shot with arrows, skinned alive, boiled in oil, or at least attempted to. These are all things that these people went through. We haven't seen any of this. But every single one of them was doing. Every single one of them had what we call faith, an emunah, that was visible. It was that what you believe in your heart, that is seen by the works that you do, by the things that you do. It is by our emunah. It is tangible. It has substance. We can touch it. We can feel it. Brethren, let's step out in our emunah. Let's not just give words. By emunah, Moshe went up to the mountain in Sinai. He went up there for 40 days, and Yah wrote on the tablets, the sapphire stones, with his very fingertip, the 10 words, and then taught Moshe all of the commands and right rulings and all the things that he should have to teach to the children of Israel. The Torah, what we call the 5 books of Moshe, which was just the Torah. The instructions, the laws, the right rulings, and the judgments that were handed down to those who would have belief, obedience, and the emunah to walk out and do. Shema and Shamar. Hear, listen, and do, and guard and observe. It's a fantastic thing. Emunah is wonderful. So let's have the emunah to step out in his Torah, the Torah of Elohim. Not some other made up instructions by some other book or some other person. His. Follow no man. Like, subscribe, and share. But share the Bashar. Share these wonderful messages of those people whom Yah looks at when they are doing his will. What did the Mashiach say when they told him your mother and your brother and your sister outside trying to get through? He said, who is my family? Who is my mother, my brother, my sister? But those who are doing the will of my Father. Those that are keeping the commands of his Father, those are his family. Let's try to keep his commands. Let's let our Emunah show him the substance of what we say we believe. Anyways, brethren, we love you as always. Look forward to seeing you again. I'll bring more. Study this out for yourself. Look at the Hebrew. Look at each letter. Look at each word. Each part of that word, the root of that word, every meaning that's within that, and get the fullness of understanding of what this says to us. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, and it will just light up your very being. He'll provide that light. His light is his Ruach HaKodesh, and when you start putting his truth into you, it'll light you up from inside, and a light that can be seen by other men. Let's draw more to him, because it is about him. Let us humble ourselves today. Anyways, guys, we love you. We will see you again the very next time. Thank you so much.